She was just my maid. Until one day changed everything. It was supposed to be just another ordinary morning. The sun was streaming through the blinds, the smell of coffee lingering faintly in the kitchen, and the silence of the house reminding me that my wife was away visiting her parents for the week. The stillness felt strange, empty, almost too quiet. But I didn't know that by the end of that day, nothing in my life would ever feel ordinary again. Her name was Clara. She had been working in our house for months, moving silently from room to room, cleaning, tidying, cooking, always efficient, always polite. But there was something about her I could never ignore. The way her eyes lingered just a second too long when we accidentally brushed past each other in the hallway. The way her lips parted as though she wanted to say something, then stopped herself. The way she sometimes smiled at me, not as an employee, but as a woman. I had noticed, of course. I'd just never admitted it. Not to myself, not to her. But that morning, something felt different. I came down the stairs, half distracted by emails on my phone, when I saw her in the living room. She was dusting the shelves, standing on her toes to reach the higher ones, her blouse riding up slightly as she stretched. I shouldn't have stared. But I did. And then she looked at me. It wasn't a casual glance. It was direct, deliberate. Our eyes locked, and in that instant, it felt like every unspoken thought we'd both been holding back finally caught fire. "Good morning, sir," she said softly, her voice carrying a hint of something more than politeness. "Clara," I replied, clearing my throat, trying to steady myself. "You don't have to call me that when it's just us." Her lips curved into the faintest smile. "What should I call you then?" The question hung in the air, thick with tension. I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because the way she was looking at me made my pulse race in a way it shouldn't. Later, I found her in the kitchen. She was washing dishes, sleeves rolled up, the sunlight catching in her hair. I stepped closer than I needed to, reaching for a glass just as she set one down. Our hands brushed. She didn't pull away. "Clara," I said quietly. "Yes?" Her voice trembled, but not from fear. From anticipation. "You've been different today." She turned off the tap, slowly wiping her hands on a towel, then faced me. Her eyes, God, those eyes, were shining with something I had only imagined before. "Maybe I'm just tired of pretending," she whispered. The world seemed to stop spinning. "Pretending what?" I asked, though I already knew the answer. "That I don't want this," she said, stepping closer, her voice barely a breath. "That I haven't been waiting for the day your wife wouldn't be here." My heart slammed in my chest. The honesty, the boldness, the sheer desire in her words left me breathless. "Clara," I started, but before I could finish, her hand brushed mine. It was a small touch, but it set my skin on fire. "Don't say anything," she whispered. "Not unless you're going to tell me to stop." And I couldn't. Because I didn't want her to. The next thing I knew, her lips were on mine. Soft at first, almost cautious, as if she was afraid I'd push her away. But when I didn't, when I pulled her closer, the kiss deepened into something raw, hungry, desperate. Every ounce of restraint I'd carried for months shattered in that moment. Her body pressed against mine, her breath mingling with mine, her hands clutching at me as though she'd been starving for this touch. My own hands found her waist, her back, memorizing every curve as if I'd been waiting for this moment all my life. The kitchen counter became our stage, the sunlight our spotlight, and the world outside didn't exist anymore. It was just us, two souls colliding in a storm of passion we could no longer deny. "You don't know how long I've wanted this," she breathed against my ear. "Tell me," I urged, my voice hoarse with desire. "Every day," she confessed, kissing down my neck. "Every time I saw you, every time I served your meals, every time she stood beside you. I wanted to be the one you looked at. I wanted to be the one you touched." Her confession ignited something inside me. This wasn't just lust, it was years of hidden longing, finally unleashed. Hours blurred into minutes, minutes into eternity. We moved from room to room, losing ourselves in each other, in stolen kisses and whispered promises, in the forbidden thrill of knowing we had crossed a line we could never uncross. The house felt alive with our secret, every wall holding our laughter, every shadow guarding our desire. And in between the fire, there were moments of stillness, her head resting on my chest, her fingers tracing idle patterns on my skin, her eyes looking up at me with a softness that almost scared me. "You know this can't last," she said quietly. "I don't care," I replied. "I just know I don't want this day to end." She smiled, that dangerous, beautiful smile, and kissed me again. When the evening sun began to set, reality crept back in. My wife would return eventually. The world would return to normal. But nothing inside me felt normal anymore. Clara stood by the window, adjusting her blouse, her hair slightly tousled, her lips still swollen from our kisses. She turned to me, her eyes filled with both fear and triumph. "This changes everything," she said. I walked to her, took her hand, and pressed it to my chest. "It already has." That night, after she left, the silence of the house felt different. Not empty, not lonely, alive. The scent of her lingered in every room, her touch burned on my skin, her words echoed in my mind. She had been just my maid. But after that day, she became my secret. My obsession. My forbidden desire. And I knew, no matter how hard I tried, there was no going back. Because one day had changed everything. Forever.